Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Pattsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/TrueOffMyChest, where a cheating wife finds out the hard way that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Let's begin. My wife left me after she got in shape and now wants to get back together. Posted by Reddit user Let Me Be Alone.
I am not sure why I am posting this. I probably want some validation as my life turned upside down recently. I was married to my wife for 4 years and we had a great marriage so far. I was madly in love with my wife. She fell into depression mainly due to her job in 2022. I tried to support her in every way and suggested her going to gym or doing any kind of sports to distress. I had my own depression episode before we got married, and what saved me was going to gym. She agreed to that and we started going there together. I could not go as frequent as in the past, since my workload got heavier after my promotion. However, I tried my best to be there with her. She used to be a bit chubby, which I loved, and after seeing some changes with her body, she started to go there regularly. It also helped her with depression and she got better. I was really happy to see her get better and livelier. She looked more confident, got more aggressive in bed, and so on. However, after a while that confidence level started to affect our relationship for worse. She started going to the parties and going outside to a point she completely stopped doing her share in the house. That proceeded with me seeing her getting flirty with a guy at a meetup we went. I communicated my feelings to her and she dismissed these. After several of these, I had her sit down with me and told her that she is riding high on her newly found confidence and emotions right now. I clearly stated she should not make decisions or actions according to that confidence right now. I know it well, it was one of my worst traits. I used to be extremely emotionally driven in the past. I suggested we go to a marriage counselor and hell broke loose. She said vile things to me, like how she realized she settled down with me after getting better, and she could do much better than me. She said I am insecure and other things. This woman used to be the sweetest person on earth, and I was shocked after hearing the things she said to me. She filed for divorce the following month, and I did not hear much from her other than some lawyer talks. Our court seeing is scheduled to be next month, and my lawyer told me there is a high chance it'll be concluded then. There is not much to share. Similar income, only shared asset is our joint account, similar savings and no kids. House is my mom's, so it's out of division. I accepted my marriage is going to end like that. Last week she called crying and told me she regrets everything. She apologized over and over again, but I felt disappointed. Not angry, not sad, just disappointed. She did not text me nor call me even once since the divorce started. I did not even know where she was since she just left the home. I told her there is no going back now. She has been messaging me non-stop. My family supports my decision and tell me I should not back down. My in-laws were shocked when they heard about the divorce. They are now telling me to rethink everything. I will 99.9% not back down, but as I said, just looking for validation and maybe wanted to vent. Thank you for reading. Now for OP's update. We are officially divorced. There was not much to share, so it went smooth as a butter according to my lawyer. I've never talked to her other than through lawyers, as much as she wanted me to. She tried to talk to me one-on-one and get closure, but I just do not want that. It's not that I do not care why she left me, what she did during that time, I just do not want to know. I've been living without her for months now. At first it was difficult and I cried all night some days, but after few months, I feel like I came to accept everything. What peace will it give to learn what and why when I already accepted everything other than hurting me? For once, I want to prioritize my peace of mind in this whole process. My parents and friends are here to support me, and I am glad that I have such a great support circle. As for what my plans are, renovate my office room in the house, get back to the gym and live my best life. I've been wanting to renovate my office room for a while now and that's what I'll start with. I started hitting the gym at the same time. I believe my body is good, but I have some extra fat. Dieting proved itself difficult because I am a tiramisu addict. For the dating part, I uploaded few apps and tried out how I am doing. I got decent number of matches, but realized I do not feel like doing it right now. I'll focus on my own hobbies, well-being, and wants for now. Thank you for all the support and help in the last post.
It is so obvious that it didn't work out with the better guy she wanted to leave you for, so now she wants to go back to her safety net. OP, you loved her when she was a depressed fatty, and she wanted to throw all of that away for some dude who only wants to get in her pants. You are absolutely correct not to take her back. And when the person who chooses to leave wants closure, just shut the door and keep it shut. They only want to make themselves feel better about their dumb decisions. You did everything correctly, OP. I wish you the best. And now for today's second story. Am I the asshole for not walking her down the aisle or lying? Posted by Reddit user Greatest Throwman.
I have 2 kids with my ex-wife, a son, John, and daughter, Sally. I'm remarried to my wife. I'm very close with my kids. My son is engaged to Abby. She seems nice, but has been a bit pushy trying to create relationships with me and my wife, though she's also awkward with her. Abby isn't close to her family. She told us many stories why, and while some of her complaints don't seem awful, it's not my place to judge and I didn't live it, so I can't know anyway. We've tried to be welcoming, but Abby has forced her way into some family traditions where she wouldn't have been invited, and somewhere no one outside of specific family would have. She has been calling Sally sis since they were only dating a few months, has an odd sister, mother-in-law thing she does with my wife, and the one I'm not a fan of, wants me to be like father to her. Not because we've clicked or anything. We are very different people, not saying that in a bad way, just saying it's not based on how we get along or anything. My kids and I have a tradition when they come over that we have a private catch-up in my office or study before they leave, which is now even more important to them because while they both get along well with my wife, they don't want to have personal conversations around her yet. Abby asked if we could talk, and after I explained the tradition, John later asked that I do it, saying she'd never had a caring conversation with her dad. We compromised that I didn't include her in the tradition, but do join the 2 of them for coffee and let her talk. Then she started calling me dad. They weren't even engaged yet. John pulled me aside and begged me to give her that. Laid this whole thing on me about me always being the dad she always wanted right in front of her, and she just wanted that. Told me she cried watching me and Sally together. I didn't like it, but I do feel bad, so fine, I gave her that. She wants me to walk her down the aisle in the father-daughter dance. I don't want to walk her down and I walk with a cane, so dancing is hard. At my own wedding I only danced twice. John is begging for me to do one, preferably the aisle. They came over Sunday. John and I were talking. I thought to address it when Abby walked in without knocking, asking if he'd told me yet. I asked what. John said she wanted me to say something about having a second daughter now in my speech, and how I loved her. I just looked at him. She asked if I'd do the walk and dance for Sally. I said of course. She yelled she's my daughter too, and I said it will never be the same. Sally is my actual daughter. I tried to explain I'd talk about her being a happy addition to the family, and I love how happy she makes John, which I thought was a good compromise, but she started crying. John apologized and they left, but he called me when they were home, nearly begging me to. Am I the asshole because I won't lie and say I love her or she's my daughter? Now for OP's update. I had planned on writing this sooner, but life got in the way in a couple of really good ways. But people were helpful and asked for updates, and I have a surprise-free day, so here it goes. Mother's Day, my kids and their partners go to visit my ex-wife. So it turns out my ex-wife and Abby are a lot closer than I realized. She calls her mom, which is part of where this comes from. Also, apparently my ex has been egging it on. On Mother's Day they were talking about the wedding, and I guess whenever Abby referred to me, it was as dad. My son apparently told her let it go, which led to yelling. Abby about deserving to be my daughter, ex telling her that she's right, son telling her that I am trying and she should be realistic about things, Sally telling her I only had one daughter, which was apparently a response to Abby saying to her, that is my daughters, they should be united. According to my son, Abby was crying. According to Sally, she was crying and yelling and kicked something before going to her room, and Sally told me she went off on her mom but will not elaborate, so I don't know what was actually said. But knowing Sally, oh boy. Around 2 a.m., I got a text from Sally's partner's phone saying, Abby really is great, she hasn't been perfect, but you should give her a chance and you will learn to love her. I saw it when I woke up. I tried to text her back but was blocked, so I called Sally but they were driving. They stopped by my place later that day because I am on the way and my daughter prefers my liquor and cooking, and they told me about the night before. At the end I asked to speak to her partner alone. I asked if I had done something to upset her. She was confused and I told her I was blocked. She said I wasn't, but checked her phone and I was, and I said it was after her message and she asked what message. I showed her, it was not on her phone anymore. At that point we brought in Sally and caught her up. Neither of them was happy. A couple of days later, John and Abby dropped by unannounced. Not something we really do in this family, but okay fine. I had mad salmon, does not take long to cook. I cook 2 more, wife serves while I make drinks. The entire night was Abby trying to bring up the wedding, John trying to change the subject, Abby not allowing that. We talk logistics because I am helping them get some good deals through some professional contacts I have, when finally she just says, so I was talking to Mom. She said that you can walk me down the aisle and she'll do the dance, or you can dance and she'll walk, it's your call, but you need to choose soon. I reiterated that I could not dance. She tried arguing that I had danced a little at my wedding, but I made it clear that it's different, and did not feel comfortable walking her. She got upset and said, Mom loves me, why can't you? I felt bad but couldn't lie. I pointed out that she had John who loved her, my ex-wife, friends, she had people who love her. She said, but other than ex-wife, those are my parents. I said, neither am I. She was very emotional, so my wife and I gave them a few minutes. My son and I were alone later. He looked exhausted. He said the problem was that after Mother's Day, Abby had called Sally and kept saying they are both my daughters, that I did not get to be close with one but not both, and that it was them against me. But at that one Sally cried havoc and let slip the dogs of war. Things were said, grievances were aired. John had to hang up before it got worse. I guess Abby was shaken, but there was a new problem. Abby had decided in her head that I did not mean what I have been saying and was just doing it for Sally. He told me he would handle it. Ron Howard, he did not. So now I get text messages from Abby every couple of days, acting like we have a secret relationship Sally doesn't know about. She even called herself my secret daughter and laughed. She invited my wife to lunch saying, 2 out of 3 of his girls going out. She has even started using the pressure of showing up at events, like a recent barbecue, to play a certain image. She hugs me more and holds it, wants to do pictures with just me or my wife and I, but always a few with just me to post with captions I do not like. My wife is getting especially annoyed because of how she is with her. I guess Abby surprised her with Father's Day plans for me that had to be shut down. As it is, she still inserted herself into the day, but she has a soft spot for her, and when Abby gets emotional she caves. My wife is a sweetheart. I asked him if he is upset with me and he said no, he just wished it was different. He said we're good, but he's worried he and Sally aren't, which is when I took the advice of some people and suggested premarital counseling. He said he would talk about it. Abby is insisting Sally go to her fitting. That shop should pay-per-view that potential Royal Rumble because Sally is not holding her feelings back anymore. I told him Sally loves him and I'll talk to her, but for now it is stressful all around. Abby driving my wife crazy with her ideas for what my girls should be doing, driving me crazy with dad-daughter content, drove Sally to the edge, and oh yeah, last night sent me an email with 3 styles of father-daughter dances and song option. So I'm not feeling any more respected or heard than before. The 6 of us have barely been in the same room in order to let things calm down since Father's Day, which was great until it was a shit show. Sorry this is so long, with all the craziness, this is still the abridged version. We are supposed to meet Friday, Sally's partner and I have a bet going about how bad it will go. So onward and upward. I hope you fathers had a less dramatic day than I did, and by any chance, does anyone know exactly how bad of a crime I need to commit to enter witness protection? Just curious.
I honestly believe that your son is stupid because he still wants to marry this walking red flag. She is destroying his family and he's still wagging his tail like a puppy. If he actually goes through this wedding, may God have mercy on his soul. But for now, let's listen to this comment exchange between OP and other Reddit users.
I can't believe your son is dumb enough to still want to marry this walking red flag. At this point you need to have a talk with your son, tell him that his fiancée is making you, your wife, and his sister extremely uncomfortable, and that you have serious concerns about her emotional stability because of her inability to accept boundaries and being told no. I would also tell him that if she doesn't back off ASAP, you will make your boundaries physical and not attend events she's at or invite her to your events. Personally, I'd tell my son I won't attend the wedding because I can't support him marrying someone so toxic, but that my door is open to help him escape her once he's ready. I know not everyone could or would do that, but I would if it was one of my kids. And witness protection is for witnesses of big crimes, not really those who commit them. You'd be better off just faking your death and running. The shame is we used to sort of like her, my daughter, my wife, and myself. Early on she was interesting, diverse interests. She has traveled a lot for her age. She and I even have overlap in musical taste. The problem was when she decided she wanted this, her personality changed and she started getting pushy, changing subjects to what she wanted if they were subjects she liked. It was like everything was put on hold until we acquiesced. which we haven't, so it has not gone on. You make a good point about witness protection. Plus, I have been meaning to take up location tracker freeboating and scuba diving in sharky waters. Honestly, I don't think you're gonna get much better advice than this. Abby does not seem mentally stable. She's hyper-fixated on forcing you guys to be her legit family, instead of embracing a natural relationship and loving what comes from that. It's sad she has a bad past with her family, but she hasn't realized that the more she's forcing it, the further she's pushing you all away. Boundaries are definitely needed, and you need to tell your son ASAP you need to figure out a way to get him alone, where she can't barge in, and lay it all out. And you need your wife to stay within the boundaries and not cave when Abby cries or whatever manipulation tactics she's using at the time. Maybe it's a bridezilla thing that's gotten totally out of control. I got nothing, but good luck, man, you'll need it. Congrats on your news, if it is what I think it is. Did you tell your son about the fake message from Sally's partner and the blocking? I don't know that you ever confirmed that Abby did it, but that is another level of crazy from just inserting herself into your life. I do not think confirmation is possible, but her phone was where Abby would have been able to get it according to Sally. Sally asked to be the one to tell him, this is crazy, but with everything going on, job stuff, family stuff, wedding stuff, and the family exploding a bit at Father's Day, I honestly forgot to ask her what happened. I have to call her later. It's funny until you sit down and write everything out you don't realize how much there is. It just feels like one thing after another. Maybe stop letting her control this family. Like what the hell? Don't you have a spine? The others want to be controlled. Their problem. You should lay down hard boundaries and not let her in or get close to you. WTF, how is this hard that you have to come to Reddit? No wonder your son is still marrying her. You're both spineless jokers who prefer to complain forever instead of taking action.
Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.